Can we get another one? How are you enjoying BronyCon?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah! Fun? 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 Yeah, this is nice.
Is no one sitting there?
You wanted to give the intro then?
All right. Yes.
Into the mic.
Right. So, we are developers. Next slide.
Right?
How many people here code?
Awesome!
That's great.
Everyone, wow.
We thought you were just ungoers.
We expected barely anyone to show up. This is really cool.
Yeah, we actually kind of planned this for like 10 people to just be sitting at the front.
Exactly,
Yeah, talking about.
When we heard Hall of the Stars, I was thinking of the Hall of the Stars from last year, and I'm like, oh, it'll be like a nice small panel, and now I see it's like the size of like the Hall of the Moon from last year.
To the moon.
So, as developers, how many of you guys here build websites?
Oh,
nice.
that's interesting.
Nice.
How many of you here build apps? That's a lot of you. All right. How many of you build games? That's a little more.
We have like
Nice.
website over here, game site over here, kind of like a little war going on. Oh, it's gonna be good.
Fine.
Curious as to how many back-end developers.
Duke it out.
Fine.
Awesome.
Yeah, how many of you are hipster enough to have a favorite JavaScript framework? And
Nice.
I bet
Okay.
you use Node.
At the risk of starting a war, at the risk of starting a war of the mobile app developers, who does Android and who does iOS?
What about Windows?
Okay, hang on. Of the people in the room, who uses iOS? That's better. That's better. So,
How many Windows devs do we have in here? Oh, yeah. I'm fine with this.
hold on.
Surface Pro 3 represent.
So
Master race, yo.
I got a question, and that is, how many of you have like coded a pony-related project of any kind? All right,
Fair amount, yeah.
that's pretty cool.
and have all those people with their hands up, did you actually ship that and it did go live? Yeah? Everyone? Or there's less hands up. There's less hands up. Yeah, all right, so a couple. Yeah, a couple, yeah.
How much were PHP?
Right? So,
So,
Victor, you want to
do
make your
talk
joke?
about
Go
a bit
ahead.
about what we've built?
So, generally speaking, as developers, we build all the things.
Can I move?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
This is the known world as we know it today.
so people here on the panel come from all over the world, from as far as Australia, America, and London. So I guess we're gonna start introducing ourselves.
This map is clearly accurate.
It is.
Yeah, America's best country.
Why am I live?
This map's wrong.
So, this is us, and this.
So let's tell us what we do.
Yeah, awesome. Want to go down the table? Let's
Sure. All right.
All right, I'm Berwin. I am a web developer by accident, but a Android developer by choice. I guess my only contribution to the fandom was working on cloudsdale.org.
I'm Victor. They call me a web unicorn because I do web development and web design. I've been doing this since I was in elementary school, and I guess I've done quite a few pony projects. My most famous one being Everfree Northwest, Everfree Northwest website.
Come on, clap.
It is a very pretty website.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah, you just sounded so modest. You're like so impressive. All right. So I am Alexander, for some reason represented by Lyrex. That's my GitHub thing. And I am a low-level systems guy. My first programming language was C, and the second programming language after that was BASIC because of my mom's old Apple II. And then, and so let's see. I've been in this fandom way too long, and most of my contributions have been back-end. Systems work for pony games, making sure they run efficiently and making sure they ship and don't break computers. And then I've done some work in ActionScript and getting some Flash apps ported over to the App Store so Hasbro can swing the banhammer on them.
What are some of the games you worked on? What are some of the games you've worked on?
Oh, sure. So I guess there are some. Most of the pony games are done in large dev teams. I guess one of the ones I'm most proud of. Are any of the devs from Pony Cart in the audience? Probably not. There you are. Huh? I love you. There have been there have been a few other ones. I guess one of the things I'm most proud of just learning about was I got introduced through DeviantArt to a guy who was making, back when DeviantArt still had those Flash games, some of those MLP Flash games. I was introduced to him, and he taught me so much about Flash development. I would be completely lost in terms of game design principles without him. So I guess I'm most proud of having had him share his code. And then, yeah, there's some other things that I was roundly told on Skype I was not allowed to talk about here. So.
I'm Kanji. I wouldn't say web developer. I do enjoy working on backends, but mostly I'm a .NET and Windows system developer. Attempting to get into Windows Phone. I was introduced into the Brony fandom thanks to Cloudsdale. Cloudsdale. Let's just stop it there. First started Java, and then I realized it's Java and Eclipse. So then I committed another crime against humanity in VB.net. Yeah. Crimes against humanity.
Clap for that?
No, you don't. Personally, I feel like I should be kicked off the panel for saying that. To which I immediately moved over to C#, which I fell in love with, and C#. What can I say? And these guys have gotten me into a little bit of Ruby. Haven't gotten into Python, and we've made a strictly Banud rule over PHP. So.
Do we have any PHP people in the house?
Bent.
So we have about 10 hands up, so that means we have roughly 30 PHP developers in the audience.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
All right, so I guess it's my turn. I'm Eighth. I make iOS apps, as you can see here. One of the few and the proud iOS developers in the fandom, apparently. I do iOS development as my speciality. I actually do it as my day job. So, and I do it sometimes part-time for the fandom. The only app so far that I actually shipped to the App Store and saw the light of day is Cloudsdale. Did anybody use that app other than my friend? No, there's one at the back. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It had about 25,000 downloads, so I think some people are just lying that they.
Don't claim it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I worked on that app. Another app I've worked on is EQ Beats, which never shipped, but is actually open source and available on GitHub. If you feel like checking it out, it's on our PodiDev's GitHub. And the only other thing I did was a screensaver for She Reads All Day, which was pretty cool. That had about as many downloads as Cloudsdale did. So, yeah.
I'm Philip, or on the internet I'm more known as Zero. I started building this app called cloudsdale.org, which is a chat application. Yes. It was shut down a few months ago because we didn't want to maintain it anymore. Though through this application, I have met most of the people that are at this panel actually, and is the reason why we kind of got together to start a kind of little developer community within this fandom. Other projects that I've been working on includes like an application I developed with Victor that you could rate what the best pony was using the ELO chess algorithm to like kind of like figure out the ELO score by comparing different ponies with each other. That was kind of cool. Yeah.
All right.
Wait, Victor, you want to?
Oh yeah, you guys think my introduction was a little short. Let me reintroduce myself. So hey, I'm Victor. Once again, I'm a web developer and designer. I also do a lot of cool things related with hackathons and nonprofits. So I'm the founder of High School Hackers, a Facebook group that brings high schoolers into computer science programs. So how many of you here are high school hackers? Raise your hand. A few of us. Woo.
In high school and
In
likes
high
to
school?
code.
It likes to code. How many of you here in high school, first of all? Yeah, there we go. How many of you here have been to a hackathon? Oh, awesome.
We got two, yeah.
Very small number.
Yeah, hackathons are awesome. You should come to one next month.
I mean, my high school was like half rabid brony, half anti-brony. That was
Yeah.
pretty interesting. Right?
That's me.
Yeah, well, see, you weren't going to high school during a period whenever bronies were completely shunned.
Yeah, I was. Like, it was the show came out in my freshman year.
Really?
Yeah.
Seems like so long ago.
You are a child.
I am a child.
We're all children.
I have a child sense of accountability.
Speak for
That's
yourself.
zero.
Actually, it wasn't a thing when I was in high school.
I was in my senior year whenever my friends were like, oh my god, so season 1 revamp.
So, what I think is pretty cool in Baltimore right now is how the city has kind of just adopted the convention, right? Like you notice this when you go out in the city and people kind of people love it. Like, have you seen what's going on Twitter right now with like the Baltimore?
The
Like the
Marriott,
Baltimore,
the
yeah,
Hyatt,
yeah.
all of it, they're just going on a Twitter rampage with each other.
Yes, the city of Baltimore has officially declared Pinkie Pie to be best pony. Just yes, so you know.
It was like when the city of Toronto, like every politician there, like 2 weeks ago, started like dissing Meek Mill just to like get Twitter credit. That fell short, didn't it?
Canada.
Next slide. Yep.
All right, so about kind of this group, right? We were here doing a panel like this 2 years ago in 2013. Not as big turnout, but it was pretty cool. Like, we had this idea that there probably are other developers in this community as well. And we wanted to come here to kind of just start a conversation between developers that maybe like have an idea about a project they want to work on, but like don't know how to make one thing. Like, you might be really good at making websites, but you don't know nothing about like backend, or you want to join a game project, but you just don't know anyone. So the purpose of this bit has been to just start conversation between people. As of last time we did this, what happened was that we started as a like little Skype group of maybe 5 people talking about this would be a cool idea, to now there being a Skype group of 70 or so people that are like really interested, like all really interesting people working on a lot of really interesting projects within the fandom. Some of them being Nighty with film fiction, a couple of guys from Legends of Equestria, Pony Cart people, even though Pony Cart's no longer a thing. Cloudsdale. Technically, okay.
So's Canada.
And like a lot more.
What?
Too many for me to count right now. But what we kind of want out of this is that when we're done with this panel here, I want like all of us to start talking with each other about like what things we want to build to like make this fandom better, because there are so many great fan works out there that I would just personally like to see more of and get more people to get involved. Because personally, starting doing some work in this fandom actually led me to become a lot better at what I do, and that has managed me to like land jobs that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So I hope that would be like a motivation for other people as well to kind of like get into coding and be able to like maybe do it as a living if that's what you want, you know.
I kind of forget who said this, but it's like an often repeated quote that like the fandom sort of like operates on EQD and stuff like that, but like all the sort of creative stuff and the high level stuff goes on like on Skype, which I thought was an interesting quote, because a lot of it feels like the developer community in the Brony fandom is one of the few like creative communities that doesn't really communicate with each other. So, you know, the way a lot of other creative communities do. So sort of our goal when we set out to do this was to create sort of a means for the developer community to work like the artist community or like the voice acting community, you know, something where you could share your skills and, I'm rambling. But yeah, that's basically the sense of it, sort of a place to bring developers who are interested in My Little Pony sort of out into a broader community, into a way that your skills can be applied, because there's always a demand for BronyCoders, literally always. Like, it's not like a saturated market or anything. There is always, like, at any given time, like 30, 40 projects that desperately need code because, like, so few people relatively can do it as opposed to other things.
Yeah.
The nice thing about Pony devs as a whole is if you guys are out there like, oh, well, we're not in Pony devs, you know, we can't do that. The cool thing about it is it's just something you can get started on your own, you and a group of friends, and you just slowly start bringing people into it. And the nice thing about developers is not everybody is, or any self-proclaimed full-stack developer is a full-stack developer. There's always somebody that specializes in one thing. And when you have a group like that, it's so much easier to spit your ideas out, and then somebody's like, I can do that. And then what you have, what they have, what somebody else has, and it immediately comes into a great project that everybody can be proud of, and other people are like, oh my God, that's great. And it's a lot of what Pony devs is. Legends of Equestria, yes, we sometimes rag on Cloudsdale, but people enjoyed it, people love it, people are still coming back like, hey, can we kick it back up? And it's that little pride that even you guys as developers get, and that's what drives all of Pony devs, is whenever even one person is like, hey, I love this.
So a thing that we have done is that we have set up how many people here are using GitHub or know of GitHub? Cool. What we have done is that we've put up an organization on GitHub where pretty much everyone can invite anyone. And if you have a Pony project that you would like to start or like see what's actually going on, there are currently at least like 20 projects or so there that are just open source that people are working on, or maybe are abandoned, or if you have something that you would like to put there and just develop in the open for other people to see and get some exposure to other developers that might want to help you out.
Or if you're interested in joining even a closed source project that you've heard about that you'd be interested in joining, there are definitely people in the community who can help bring you in, get you hooked up with the closed source code, stuff like that. Because, you know, it's not like an exclusive secret little club. If you like My Little Pony and you like coding, you're in already. Okay.
We're desperate.
Yes, please, the fandom needs coders. Games don't write themselves. Yes, that too.
Animators, artists, all of it.
Everything.
With the amount of action script I wrote when I was animating, like animating was mostly coding for me. So.
All right.
I just still find it disturbing
Yes.
you're using action
Somebody's never used
script.
After Effects.
I wish I knew how to use
Alright,
that.
you guys want to do a demo?
Right.
Oh yeah, good
Oh
point.
yes, it's actually
It's
a good point.
github.com/ponydevs.
No, no, keep
Just
go and
in
pull it
case
up.
I have something embarrassing.
Alright. No,
Right.
Oh, that was that was less good.
Bad and also not good.
Thanks, Wi-Fi network. Oh, there we go.
Can you tell we're flying by the seat of our pants here?
Okay, awesome. That is GitHub. Name of the organization again? It's not.
It's Pony devs.
We tried in there.
Here we
There
are.
we go.
Here we are.
Ta-da.
Who
And-
changed the description to "We ship ponies"?
I mean, are they wrong?
Victor?
It was you. I know it was you.
It's
Right.
not what it sounds like.
Actually, it is. Now. It sounds like.
Anyway, here you will find a lot of interesting things. As for example, when we shut down Cloudsdale, what we did was that we used to open source the whole project and all of its components. There should be some mirrors to the repos on here. If it's not, I'll make sure that they're there like today.
Cloudsdale app, no spaces, no underscores. Oh, look, there's your EQ Beats iOS.
Yeah,
There we go.
that's the official.
See, so a lot of open source, pretty much every open source MLP project has pages like this. And we're not saying please come help, but we're saying please come help. Right. So, any specific demos that anyone would like to show?
Yes, 8th.
Not all.
Yeah, really by the seat of our pants here.
Yes, you got a question.
What if I don't know anything about coding, but I'm able to make Excel spreadsheets or write things?
If you can make Excel spreadsheets really well, you probably already know some Visual Basic. You're fine.
If you would like to get started with coding through like this through this community, just get in contact with any of us, and we can help to point you in the right direction. It all depends like what you want to do, right? Like if you would like to start doing web development, I would probably be someone who could point you in the right directions of where to start. If you want to do iOS, you would probably
Sort of
want to go and
the
speak to
goal of
Taro.
panels like this is to connect developers with developers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Google is your friend as well.
You have a question over there. Yeah?
Repeat the question.
Oh, that's really cool.
I love Scratch. That was my first.
Without getting too
Bend.
controversial here, I
He asked what sort of game.
hang on. No, what
what kind
sort
of game?
okay,
Are you-
so the question was what sort of language you should be learning as your kind of first programming language, and
Well, specifically for games.
specifically for games.
Yeah. So, for the
Probably, yeah.
games, are you trying to work on something you can play on your internet browser?
So
Sadly,
the thing
JavaScript.
is, there's a lot of languages
JavaScript is
you
a
can
very
learn.
safe bet if you want to develop things for the web or if you want to develop games. There's this thing called Unity Engine, and that is something you can program in JavaScript.
Yes. He's not ready. Yes, another question?
Well, least common's probably going to be some esoteric language that.
Basic.
I actually wait. No, I
Lol
think I put
code.
some basic code up there. So.
Perl.
No, I think there's some Perl somewhere around there.
Dumping on all my favorite language.
Haskell.
No, there's definitely Haskell there.
Someone's mad. Someone's
Jimmy's
mad.
rustling.
Triggered.
So I don't think there's any given most common that kind of changes on a project basis.
But it's JavaScript.
Yeah.
Is it JavaScript?
Yeah.
Also-
More and more
also
coming JavaScript.
Git-
Node.js is the only real dev
GitHub-
language.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
you shut up.
Definitely
Kidding.
JavaScript.
Okay, hang on. For those who are interested, GitHub provide statistics on what the most used things are. So that's really easy to get to. I think it's just
Well, it's not most useful.
github.com/analytics.
But most of the repositories here are JavaScript. There's one C++, some Ruby.
Well, there's just a lot of web projects on there, so
Yeah,
naturally
remember, a
there's
lot of the
JavaScript.
giant closed source things like games and stuff that usually like makes the what you were working on Horse Game, weren't you? Like a lot of that stuff isn't web stuff.
What?
What? Oh, no, Horse Game is not.
Horse game is C#.
Yeah, it's C#. That's why I said it's not web stuff.
C#.
Are we gonna demo the thing?
All right, demo.
Does this work? Yep, works. Okay. So this first app doesn't actually work because we took the Cloudsdale servers down. But I wanted to open it up and prove that it exists. This is definitely a thing that once happened.
Cloudsdale of Legends.
Yes, the Cloudsdale days of yore. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they
Well,
were shot down.
If you look on the screen, and they're actually still moving, though. Another thing this app does actually is
Look at all that unsecured data floating around in the clouds.
at nighttime it actually changes to fireworks and a night background, which is something I could demo if we were here for about 7 hours. But we're not. So.
Or you could just change your phone's clock settings.
Yeah, but that
But it's an iPhone.
people will get bored if I do that. So I'll show you the other app I've been working on, which is going to be extremely funny because it is pre-alpha, and this is a demo, and things always go wrong. In fact, as of an hour ago, it still crashes when you try and play music in it, which is bad for a music app. So I really have a thing for first impressions. So the very first thing you should see when you load an app is something that's really cool. So I built this thing that does that.
Does anyone recognize any of these albums or
Developers
tracks?
in one sentence.
I built the thing that does the stuff.
Yeah, so it does actually do stuff. And the images you see that are scrolling there, they actually change every time you launch it based on which songs you've played recently. So assuming that you could actually play music and it doesn't crash. So yeah, I never did finish the app, but it connects to the Equestrian Beats service. I'm actually not an Equestrian Beats developer myself, but because they had an open API, someone like me can just come along and write an app for their service. So if you guys are writing web stuff, I would highly recommend that you open up your APIs and document it, because you never know when someone's going to come along and do a lot of work for you, and then never ship it.
This, by the way, was how we actually started to work together. I was already running the Cloudstale service, and Eighth came onto the service, and we started talking in a chat room, and he said, like, I would like to develop an iOS app for this. And I said, oh, I've already started working on an API. Here is some documentation of how the API works, and he could start using that to develop that. Question?
Yeah, a comment about good documentation, unintended. That the person who might need to look at your code might be yourself 6 months from now.
Yes.
Yeah, don't I know it?
I hate old me. I was in
Perl
an
is
embedded
right
systems
only.
course this year, and I hate old me so much. I invented all these terrible data types and didn't document any of them.
Question? Well, see, that's the good thing about the developer group is anybody of any skill can come in. It's around so that you can learn to get better, that
Yeah.
you can improve yourself from watching other people do it.
And remember,
Yeah.
this isn't some club you need to apply for membership to. Like this is just a way for developers to talk to each other. You're all members already.
It's not like you must be level 15 to get a premium membership and play with this character.
It's kind of the reason why we put it as a hashtag, because it's a topic of conversation rather than a group you join. What we want to create here is a community of learning and improving, because that's what most of us are really about, I think, when we do code. Question?
Is no skill an acceptable entry level?
I think everyone has some kind of skill.
No, I mean no skill in programming.
Yeah, anyone can
You
learn.
use
and we're
spreadsheets.
all willing
Yeah,
to
if you're
help.
ready to learn, I think that's the only
VB.net.
thing you need.
Well, I mean, I more or less said spreadsheets in particular in case you guys need documentation.
Well, again, if you just want to come in, look around, learn, like, hey, you know, this is what I'm starting. What would you guys suggest? We can answer things like that. You come in with questions. We can easily help, and it's what these kind of groups are there for, so that we can assist you in you getting your goal. That's what this entire thing is about, is so that all of us as a collaborative effort can help you get the app that you want, the website that you want, the game that you've been dying to get out there for forever, which is never actually 100% out there. It's just always in beta.
Once it gets out there, an NDA prevents you from talking about it.
You better.
Unless you use OCs.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I guess that works too.
Good workarounds.
We have a question over here.
I noticed a lot of people are talking about being beginners. There's another barrier to entry that you might want to address, and that's going to be intimidation. Some people feel if they try and push something on GitHub, they're going to get a huge code review, and sometimes it's not super friendly.
Yeah, so I'll take that one. I can attest to no one caring. So I put the entirety of EQ Beats, the app that I developed for almost 2 years, on GitHub, and it has 3 stars, and I think it has been seen by a grand total of about 10 people. So if you're worried about putting stuff on GitHub and nobody's seeing it, nobody's going to see it unless you actually try and get people to see it. So don't be shy about putting stuff on GitHub. GitHub is almost like your CV these days. So the more stuff you have on GitHub, the more likely it is that someone's going to take you seriously.
Furthermore, vicious code reviews like this code is terrible, you know, how did you write this? You know, this is like 300 WTS per minute. This kind of stuff usually only happens after like you have been assigned a specific task. Like if, you know, the team lead says, I need screen tearing finished, and you show up with more screen tearing, of course they're going to yell at you. But if you show up and you're like, hey, look at this game I made. Like, no one, especially not in the Brony fandom, is going to say, like, wow, this is terrible. Like, no one's going to do that. Trust me.
We're creating this community. Like, the people that are most likely going to see the projects that you put up there, if you work on a Pony projects, is like people in this room, or like that are already involved with Pony dev. And the kind of culture we want to create is something that is very like positive and reinforcing, and like room for people to actually learn.
We just want to.
We just need more people.
Another nice thing about GitHub and taking on the intimidation view of it. Yes, I remember my first time going onto GitHub, I was like, okay, you know, there's a lot of code on here. People are what I understood is good at that time. And I had a demo project, one for like 2 years. And finally I realized sometimes you have to look at GitHub not as a place where you store your code, but a place where you can look at yourself and how you've progressed. That's a nice way to look at it, in my opinion, and it's nice to go in there and look at repos that I started like 2 years ago, and it's like, wow, I've improved. And it's motivation to keep on going forward. It's motivation to look at your errors. And it's also nice to go in there and it's like, I can definitely tell this is my style of coding. I was talking to somebody once who went into my code and was like, wow, this is actually you. You can almost feel like you're the one talking through it. And it's almost like each little project has its own signature. And that's what I encourage everybody else to develop, is that little signature that shows it's theirs.
And there are so many developers like in
You've been holding up your arm for forever.
Oh, we have mics now. I just wanted to point out that along with the actual developers and those that are skilled or even less skilled, there's lots of openings for folks. There's artists, like they mentioned, there's animators, but also we have to think about people actually testing it. Quality assurance is also an important thing because you want to make sure that you have something like good that goes out.
I agree.
If anybody is comfortable with if they feel like sometimes they break things a lot, they just go into program and it crashes. If you can do that, you will be helpful to the community as well. So there's folks out that are not here that would be potentially helpful. I think we should reach out to them as well.
And the nice thing about Q&A is it can lead to bigger opportunities, and it leads to more interest, because Nitro right here, he started off as QA and he's a pretty dang good developer now. Like, thanks to this fella here.
Yeah, so he was on Cloudsdale, and I conscripted him to do all of my testing.
And it's nice to have things like QA, and it opens doors to where people are more interested and they see how it works in the background, and it's even more of an encouraging tool to develop.
I think what's nice, there's definitely indication. If you walk around the vendors hall, this BronyCon alone, I counted like 6, 7 amazing video games like there right now. And actually like 2 or 3 of them were supposed to be on this panel, but they're busy showing those games off because so many people want to play them. So like there is definitely a huge community of developers, and like please talk, like developers I think in general are very friendly people. So please go talk to them about code. They'll love to talk to you, get in touch with them. And there's this whole Why are you laughing?
Green.
So
Green, we're good.
there's one thing I'd like to say about quality assurance and actually developing the right thing. If you have a community of users of your application or of your game, listen to them. Really listen to what they want and what their needs are. Don't just do what the community tells you to do, but hear them out. That's really important, because if you go into your cave and you sit and develop on a project because you think this is so cool, I don't care what anyone else says. Sure, sometimes that might get you along faster, but if you have a big community of people that is actually using your thing, listen to their needs, because the outcome is probably going to be something that's way better than you'd ever anticipated.
Victor, you were ready for your
short
little demo?
I do have one small.
For the love of
So I
God,
do have
listen
one
to
small
Bubba
thing to
Course.
show off.
Talk about it a bit more.
My friends, yeah, okay, awesome, okay, awesome. Okay, so how many of you here have used DuckDuckGo? Oh, awesome. How many of you have at least heard of DuckDuckGo? So generally speaking, DuckDuckGo is a privacy-focused, awesome search engine from my friends over in Paoli, and they decided to build some wiki integrations with NLP Wikia. So whenever you search for Twilight Sparkle, you get an instant answer. Whenever you search for anything related to My Little Pony, you'll get an instant answer from My Little Pony wiki. So that's what my friends at DuckDuckGo are working on.
Take that, Google.
And
Oh, of course. Now, I take no credit from this. This was a friend who told me they implemented this feature. How many of you guys use Wolfram Alpha? Just to show off, hold on. I use it way too much. What do you mean free Wi-Fi? Yeah, I know it's free. This side again. Okay, so how many of you guys use Wolfram Alpha for your math homework? Basically, this was back at a hackathon recently. My friend told me that basically as a stealth My Little Pony Easter egg, they implemented some of the MLP characters as parametric equations. Please hope that it stayed up. Best pony, by the way. Please have stayed up. This was amazing when he showed me. And come on, load. Another question while this loads because it takes forever. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have another question in the back? Yeah?
Is there any call or need for people that are good with metrics, like say SWOT or something like that?
Is there any?
Wasn't Nighty talking about wanting someone for data analytics?
Yes. So a good friend of ours, Nighty, is running the largest pony site in the world, and finfiction.net. And he has been talking a lot about like wanting to do something with data. So you should get in contact with him if you like have some ideas, because I think he's pretty open to doing something right now.
It's very pleasant to talk to.
Like literally message any developer on Twitter and they're like, there's 1 degree of separation from other developers anywhere, seriously. We're all horse famous to each other.
sort of.
He's actually horse famous.
No, I'm not.
Victor, talk about how horse famous you are. This thing's still not.
Maybe bring up like other methods of collaboration besides just Bitbucket, because oftentimes Bitbucket for coding-centered projects works really great, but once you hit that like 2 gig cap, or you want to potentially incorporate more other aspects, like on the visual side, stuff like Trello works hand in hand really well. I think.
Yeah.
That's why we use GitHub.
Well, so when it comes to what your source control itself demands in terms of like large files and so on, I think you need to pick.
I've used Trello for 2 pony projects, both of which were animations, and it does work incredibly well. Mostly the way it works is, for one of them actually it was really cool, someone spun up a DigitalOcean bubble and they just ran everything, Flash, everything, they just SSH'd in and everything was in one place and everything was organized via Trello. And that does work really well. A lot of the big projects do require like a considerable amount of technical knowledge, so a lot of the tech solutions will work.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about games and having visual assets, one thing you can do is there is a Git plugin called Large File Storage that GitHub has recently released. And it really helps with storing large binary assets like your 3D models and your artwork. And you can definitely look into that. It works with any Git site. You just tell it where you want to keep your large files.
So let me clarify. Was your question more about like how you incorporate like the process of people that do not actually code on the project? Right. Yeah, for that I've mostly used Trello because that's like a general purpose just place to.
We managed to load it through the magic of 4G LTE instead, and the Easter egg is still there, a testament to how many. Come on, where is it? No, zero. A testament to how many pony coders exist in the world. This is live on Wolfram Alpha.
And you can also find a formula too, I think.
It's magical.
Yeah, Friendship is Magic. Like he threw up a ton of these. So yeah, definitely. They're
Friendship is
in
math.
the industry themselves. Like I know for a fact there are like 30 bronies at Rockstar. Like use your pony connections to go out into the world and put Easter eggs everywhere. Trust me.
Where was it that just had a picture? Just some godforsaken link. It's convoluted as crap. No, there was one. They eventually took it down, but there was a link. I can't remember which website, but URL was
something on the internet.
like 50 characters long. You'd never be able to guess it, and it's just MLP.
Yep.
Yay.
Actually, there was an animator for one of the Seth MacFarlane shows who like constantly put MLP Easter eggs in like I think it wasn't Family Guy, it was something else, and they actually ended up telling him to stop.
Ponies everywhere.
I think it was on
They are everywhere
PHP's
now.
homepage.
Oh, yeah,
There's
PHP
an
on that.
endpoint. Yeah.
So anyone got any more
Oh,
questions or something? Yes.
If you
Mike.
use Unity, what ARPG can you make?
Oh well, there are all sorts of wonderful games written in Unity. Actually, one of the guys who was supposed to be on this panel but can't because he's busy presenting his game is writing the virtual reality Ponyville that you may have seen. That's entirely. And then there was.
Okay.
What else? There was. I was talking to the people making the Fallout Equestria game, and that's a modified version of Unity 3. They're building their own framework on top of it.
Horse Game is built in Unity,
Yeah.
and that's an action RPG.
Fallout game? Oh, I'm not on that team. I can get you in touch with the guy who is though. Just tweet at me.
If you got any questions, by the way, there's a microphone here up front, so if you could please make it to the front with any more questions, that would be really cool. Ta-da. I'm making you walk.
That is a risky proposition. We developers are lazy folk, you know.
Yeah.
If you're telling us to leave our chair, then no.
Why I picked that seat.
Well, good.
He's got the right idea.
He's a future coder.
So
Optimal efficiency.
So someone else had brought up.
Could you please use the microphone so everyone can hear?
So someone had brought up that there should be other jobs like testing and other. Okay. Thank you. So someone brought up that there should be consideration for other jobs such as testing. I'm considering, will there be assistance needed for writers or someone keeping track of data? So like say you're making a fighting game, will there be the necessity for someone to keep track of balance changes, for example?
Coders hate documentation. If you like documentation, every dev team in the world is going to want you.
So it's necessary to like kind of keep track of those things. I mean, this all depends on what project you're working on. But like if you're a part of a game development project and you want to make sure that you have a balanced game, making sure that everyone that is involved in the dev team is able to like keep track of what changes you make and how to compare these changes to kind of balance things out. Yes, there's obviously a need for that, but that's something that you need to discuss with the team you're working with.
Communication is key.
Every time you say balance things out, I think about that terrible SWAT scene from Silicon Valley where they SWAT out letting the guy get killed.
Really, I think of the lack of balance in Call of Duty. Yes. Villager.
You have a question?
Yes.
Yeah. So, what's your preferred database storage solution? Is it going to be a relational or is it going to be NoSQL?
I think that's going to depend on the person, and it will start a religious war.
Because it's efficient, because your writes go nowhere. That's.
I'm gonna throw a curveball here and say
I kid.
key value storage, distributed,
Yeah.
Raft
Redis.
protocol.
Second for Redis here.
Redis, master race.
Redis isn't a storage, though.
It's key value storage.
It's key value.
Yeah.
Also, after using MongoDB and SQL, I can't. I'd much rather.
Considering about getting started in things like coding and developing games and stuff like that, and just software in general, how late would you say it's too late to get into it?
Never.
Never too late.
Never.
It's not
Alright,
too
'cause, like,
late.
Remember, you're here forever, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm 19, I could probably tell you more about water systems and
Oh, don't
coding or
worry. I didn't
anything?
get started until I was 18,
Oh, really?
so
All right,
it's
thank you.
never too late to pick it up.
Yeah, I think I
You have
started
people
actually
like over
programming
there.
at 18.
She's starting at really young age, and that's great to see people like that. And
Yes.
yeah, awesome. Like you're gonna be a star programmer by the time you're 16.
Also, Scratch is amazing, so shout out to that. That's
And then you have people like him. He started at 18. I started at 17, 16.
So if you're an experienced programmer, or like if you already know programming and you haven't tried Scratch, go and play with Scratch because it's so much fun. Like it's just a great thing.
have to download it.
Yeah.
It's great.
You're one of those fanboys, aren't you?
Excuse me? Is there a need for like storyline writers or something?
For a lot of games, then yeah, absolutely.
Coders are parts of like very large projects, especially with games. You have artists and actors and storyboarders and everything. So definitely these huge communities, the coders will be in constant communication with the writers because we'd write a terrible stuff.
I think this is a bit of the problem, right? You as a writer, if you want to work together with coders, I think learning how to communicate with the coders is a very good idea.
See, it's nice because all of us developers are senile, so I mean,
Yeah,
we make
pretty
great
much.
storylines.
There's a reason they don't let the coder write the script.
Yeah, get a good writer if you're writing it, if you're doing a game, and talk with them.
Oh, where else?
Anything else?
Don't be shy.
You can ask us anything.
Off topic's fine too. Yes, you.
Which site, sorry?
Linda.
Like Linda?
Yeah, Linda is really good, but I'd say Codecademy is actually a little
really
better.
good.
Code Academy, Code School, Linda, like there's a huge amount of these sites, and they're all really good. So if you're looking into learning another programming language or like learning your first programming language, I'd definitely recommend going to one of these sites that kind of like have a course laid out for you that you can just do yourself.
I'm probably
on
gonna
the
get
website.
shot for this, but I learned Ruby from YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube is actually
that's
a really
actually
good
really cool.
resource.
The guy typing in Notepad like today I will teach you how to hack.
Oh no, he was actually talking to me. You know, I felt a little connection.
Yeah. I know you're.
So, if
Someone's
you
gonna.
guys know-
Anonymous logo.
Sandstorm and the Bandicam.
Yeah, Darude Sandstorm was playing in the background.
Oh man.
Question?
Yes, yes.
I was just wondering, what do you think would be the best way to find a dev team, like other people who work with you?
Talk to any coder. We would. Every dev team loves to have new members.
Not
about
even
your
just
idea you
coders,
have.
just talk to people.
Yeah.
It's like every developer has ESP. We can just sense each other from miles away.
Yeah.
And
then
we'll
the
send.
formats don't match.
Yeah, sometimes people don't send content length headers and screw everything up.
Yes. Flip a coin either way.
Yeah, if you want to ask a question, please step up to the microphone.
And ask, what kind of projects can you bring to light so that way not only can they get some recognition, but maybe perk some people's interest?
Sorry.
Some projects. Bring some projects to light.
Yeah, what are some interesting projects?
Well,
So I was down. Actually, I was down in the vendor hall right now before this panel and spoke to Aile Monti, who's a voice actress. What she started doing is recording voices. Have any of you played One Night Ultimate Werewolf with the phone app? All right, like it's a game where it's Mafia. Do anyone know Mafia? Yeah, okay, so Werewolf Mafia is kind of the same thing. One Night Ultimate Werewolf is, you don't have a game master, you have an app that is the game master and kind of tells you what you need to do. What Monty started doing was that she's recorded all these voices and she's made like ponified versions of the cards that you use, but she doesn't know how to code, and what she would like to bring this thing to life and actually have an app for it. So if anyone's like interested in working on a project like that, that would be really cool.
No M Ruby. Little app that ironically thought of and built upon with a few others on the way to BronyCon because we had a cross-country tour. One thing I've noticed with a lot of fandoms and just people in general, me for instance, I needed an OC drawn, and going to DeviantArt or Tumblr or Twitter, it's very, very, very difficult to kind of choose one or to even find reliable ones without going through like 5 or 6, like, okay, well, this is sketch.
See what you did.
Nice pun.
No pun intended. Sure. But I thought of something. Why not have a site that's, where you can find artists that want to be hired for commissions? I know there's plenty of services out there already, but let's face it, there's no single service for anything ever. Like Facebook has clones everywhere, Twitter has clones. But I thought about it, what more could people use for it? How would the interactions between the artist and the commissioner actually work? And it was nice to realize people never leave a good comment on something right off the bat. But if you go on the internet and you have a terrible service, people will always complain about it. Or not always, but like 95% of the time. It's complete opposite with good reviews. So open a little door between the artist and the commissioner as soon as something's commissioned, and from there, let the communications run wild. Make it to where the commissioner isn't scared to talk to the artist about things like deadlines, alterations, things that they're expecting. And then at the end of it all, just a little questionnaire. How was your service? Were they easy to talk to? Was your commission finished within the reasonable date? If it wasn't, how off were they? How was the quality? And then at the end of it all, just little rating system on them so that people can actually find someone that they think is reliable, and it makes it easier for the next person to come in and say, hey, this person's good at what they do, their time frames are good, their artwork, their sociability is good. And it, not only does it get the artist more known for someone who actually does work, it'll let commissioners get what they want. Everybody wins, except for the people that are bad. They don't win, which is what I want.
So for me, I'm just going to shout out to Equestrian Beats again. Their website is actually technically a dead project. They don't actually want to maintain it anymore, but they're keeping the hosting live, and the entire C++ source code for the Equestrian Beats website is on GitHub. They're actually looking for someone to take over the project. So if you've never heard of it, it's a completely open source, free Brony music archive. That is where the artist actually goes on and uploads the music themselves, rather than some curator going and downloading the entire Brony music archive and hosting it without the artist's permission. So everything that is on EQ Beats is up there with the artist's permission. I think it's a really good service. I think it deserves more recognition than it has, and it certainly needs someone to take up the mantle of maintaining it.
It's also one of the oldest pony websites out there, as far as I know. It was started in 2011 or something like that,
Yeah.
and
Yes,
it
Wooden Toaster's
has
on there.
accumulated all of this music that artists since then have uploaded themselves. So it's it would be a shame to see it go unmaintained.
So if anyone in here knows C++, check it out. Probably, yeah. I don't know that there's that many web developers that know C++, but
Anybody
you never
wants
know.
to C++.
And the iOS side of it, which I developed, is also technically a dead project. I haven't committed to that since September 2014 because I've been working on other things. But it is also open source, and I'm also looking for someone to take the mantle and finish it. Maybe fix this crash bug would be nice for a start.
So there were 3 things I wanted to, two projects and one, well, no, a project, an area, and a coder. I guess the coder, first off, is I do not know his first name is Alex. He lives in Germany, and I just wanted to give him a shout out because he makes those amazing, those amazing Flash games that show up on DeviantArt? The ones like, he did Canterlot Defender, he did Canterlot Siege, he did all those amazing Flash games. And I just want to just publicly say, like he is an amazingly hard worker, and I just wanted to give him a shout out for being an amazing, he always pushes, high quality work, and he live streams all his stuff, which is amazing, and he's an absolutely amazing guy. The project, I guess, is just the Pony VRville project. If you don't know about it, you can put on an Oculus Rift and basically be in Ponyville. Right now it's a one-man dev team. He was supposed to be on the panel, but he's presenting it. Yeah, My Little Ties. Absolutely, yeah, and he does the My Little Ties business on the side too, while he's, fully coding a virtual reality Ponyville. And I guess the last thing I wanted to bring a shout out to was how I got into coding for My Little Pony, fully, and that's the scientific research end of it. The My Little Pony fandom gave me easily, about, I'd say, 70 or so gigabytes of raw training information, basically from the birth of the fandom on October 10th, 2010 to the present day. Live Twitter feeds, live DeviantArt, the entire Blogger API history of Equestria Daily as it grew. And you are able to do so much social science research with that. I basically fed that data to a machine learning algorithm, and it was one of my leading data sources for the project that eventually got me the Intel Medal. There's a lot of data and the science that goes on. I know there's the psychologist who does work with this fandom. The computer science, machine learning, science potential behind this fandom is actually amazing. And there are a lot of researchers in theoretical computer science who already like MLP, and it's an amazing new frontier to do. That. Want to shout out any projects?
Oh yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to, how many of you here use MLP forums, Pony FM, or any Ponyverse projects? A few of us? Quite a few of us, all right. Well, my friends over at Ponyverse are looking for, mostly PHP developers to help out, okay, fine. But, they're looking for general web developers, not just PHP developers, but just general developers to help out with their Pony.fm music platform. And more importantly, we're also looking for help with our newest project, Pony Roleplay, which is going to be a branch off of MLP forums, the largest Brony forum on the internet. So, is that?
I guess the only shout out I would give is also to Ponyverse.
Also, just a shout out to, I think, people who are very valuable but are often neglected. It's really short, I promise. A shout out to the development team behind Equestria Daily, because they are absolutely amazing. They've helped me on multiple occasions with questions, and they're probably the most amazingly punctual dev team I've ever seen. So if any devs for Equestria Daily are watching this, we love you. Seriously, the whole fandom loves you. So.
Yeah, it's time. And I think that's time. So thanks for coming. Round of applause. Yeah. If you have any more questions, okay. So if you have any more questions or just want to talk to us, we'll be standing right out of the hallway.
And if you're interested in joining the large-scale Skype group, it's the name of the Skype group is #PonyDev, one word. And that's it. Thank you all so much for coming. You've been great.
Invite me to that again.